it's cold, 40 below and it snows. Nobody knows and it blows. Wind really goes and you feel your heart pounding through the road. Rolling home for the close of roads.
The greatest show on the screen on all the platforms, the new producer of Goats Only, Roller Sports, Sports and Entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, the delish we call the Commish. Commish, what are you doing, man? This looks awesome.
Oh, listen, Bruno, it's nice to see you, brother. And, thanks so much. I'm excited. I mean, we've got a little bit new technology and, we're trying to blow the roof off this sucker and not swear so much.
Okay, so that's not going to happen. But,
No.
Man, it looks good, Benny. Good job. Good
well,
job.
Bruno, it's always a team effort with you. And,
Not on this one.
We'll just see if we can bring the fans a little bit better juice, because I'm excited. I'm excited to see you. And, so let's blow the roof off this sucker.
All right. Well, let's start off. Let's go. Let's big rundown. What's going on?
Yeah, bro, this week, I mean, I'm excited. We got fantasy football, Goats Only standings where, sometimes it's just not fair. And is fantasy football. And, I'm not doing so well, but nice win over the weekend. We had to remind you about 7 times to set your line up so that Mateo didn't run away with this thing. So, that's exciting and I'm fired up. And, we also have, Bruno, breakout teams and player standings in the NFL, NBA, and NHL. We got a special this week, NFL game predictions for Week 12 by, one of the boys from Duck Dynasty. We got the Louisiana Duck boys coming on today and how they can steer the fans towards a W on the Sports Select or the betting lines. We also got a sponsor shout out this week, Sports Card Corner, Mystery Caller, Fan Mail, High Roller and Low Roller, Beefs and Griefs, where we make a stand against bullshit and, much, much more. So, you know what, Bruno, let's get it. But let's all of a sudden give a shout out to our Goats Only team standings for Week 11, where First Down Syndrome's holding down top spot with a 5-way tie for second place. 2 weeks left. It's going to be a battle. And if you're part of our Goats Only League, pay attention to our show next week. If you are watching next week, you're going to get a real big hint as to what's going to happen in our league. And if you're the top 4 players in the league, you better watch next week's video because at the very end of the video, I'm going to unlock a doozy, Bruno. Nobody's going to see it coming, but there's going to be a mitt full of players to draft for the playoffs for the top 4 teams.
Wow. Should we be worried about maybe some Japanese interpreter foul play?
You know what? There's been foul play all over the place, Bruno. I was ready to throw the red flags over the weekend with Blair and our brother Kluche. Flagrant fouls. Yeah, it was interesting. But you know what? We're back on track, and like I say, don't miss next week because we're going to shake it up.
You know what I found really interesting? We're going to talk about this later because we're going to be talking about that in high roll and low roll. And boy, oh boy, there was some cultural, distinction conversations going on how we fix this game. But we're going to talk about that later. So let's go on. Let's go on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It's my fantasy league. I'll do what I want to. And that's the way it is. And so, I'm excited, but look out for next week's video. If you don't watch, you're going to get screwed.
Well, nobody's ever not really said that you don't flex when you have the opportunity to flex. So you're going to flex. We're going to see what happens at the end of the show. I have no idea what you're talking about. All I know is there was a few incidents where, there's a taunting going on over the phone on the video and all that kind of stuff we're going to get to. Uncomfortable situation, but at the end of the day, all the allegations, all the allegedly down the drain, and the phone stopped ringing and texting. So it's all good, I think. But okay, breakouts.
Maestro, my phone has never stopped ringing. My phone rings during the show. I mean, last week we had Blair Beisel trying to sneak on by calling me on my cell during the film. And so, you never know who's going to call. You never know who's going to come on. But, we continue to bring the fans what they want, and that is juice. In the QB spot, we have Josh Allen holding it down, 44-plus fantasy points over the weekend. I watched the first 2 quarters of that game. I didn't see it coming. I was actually disappointed, turned off the show, went back to Red Zone, and, I missed Josh lighting it up. In the second spot, we got Drake May. I mean, the Patriots are doing what we never thought they'd be doing. And in the third spot, we see Patrick Mahomes. So we know that the Chiefs dynasty is coming to a close, but at the same token, Patrick Mahomes is still doing what he needs to do to get those fantasy points. In the RB spot, Bruno, we've got Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, and Devon Archain. In the receiver spot, we got Jackson Smith holding down the 1 spot with George Pickens and Amon-Ra St. Brown following closely in second and third. And in my favorite spot, the tight end spot, Trey McBride, Travis Kelce, and Tyler Warren are bringing it and getting the majority of the fantasy points for that position. Now, Maestro, breakout teams in the NFL. In the AFC, we have the Patriots and Broncos, 9-2. With the Titans at 1-9. Tough one for Titans fans, but it is what it is. In the NFC, we're seeing the Eagles-Rams in the top spot with 8-2 record, and the Giants and the Saints sucking on the pipe with 2 wins. Not going to be good for those coaches. In other sports, Bruno, my boy Rob Rodriguez had to wake me up on Saturday. I was fading out early, too much indica, but what can you do? But big UFC fights put on by our boy Dana White, where Islam Makhachev retains his 28-1 record, and Valentina Shevchenko puts the screws to Weili Zhang to keep her badass record. And Bruno, in the NBA, the East is being dominated by the Pistons, and the West, OKC continues to stay in the top spot. And in the NHL, Bruno, we're seeing the Bruins, Devils, and the Hurricanes hold it down in the East, and in the West, the Avalanche and Stars nail down the lead. And in the CFL, we had the Grey Cup this past weekend, and we saw the Saskatchewan Roughriders lock it down. Congrats, Roughriders, way to go. And lastly, Bruno, we have women's beach volleyball. Now I'm fucking with you. And that's a wrap for breakout teams, players in all sports.
So, Kamish, little shout out to the Goats Only fantasy participant. I know Trevor Harris won the MVP of the game for the CFL Grey Cup, but we had one of our own on the field. Some random prime minister that showed up, Mark Carney, with what was the guy's name? The actor Ham. What's his first name? I can't remember his name. Ham. Machine Gun Kelly. We had one of our own on the field.
Yeah, it was nice that Dominic got a trip from Coinbase to go flip the coin toss. We were watching for him, but we didn't get to see him. Obviously, he's behind the lens, but good job on the coin toss. I loved the before and after. I loved seeing those coins on the fake turf, and it was interesting. And I think we're going to talk a little bit later about Mark Carney and his response from the fans in the West. Let's go, Western Canada.
You know what's interesting is that during the Grey Cup, like during the game, you and me laying down on the couch, not on the same couch at the same time, but you were in your house, I was in my house, laying down on the couch, having, as the Italian folks in Ottawa, the sandwich. We were just having a little sandwich. That's it, right? And this weekend, you talk about Goats Only. Your kid, big time football, had a great game, and he's in Kansas playing football. Nice crowd. My son, Mateo, is at the Steelers game doing security with his school. Another 75,000 people, or whatever the hell they have over there. And my other kid is at the Grey Cup. And here we are the real goats of all goats, me and you, and I don't mean the greatest of all time, we're just like a bunch of freaking sheep. We're laying on the couch. What's going on?
Well, Maestro, you know I wasn't sitting at home alone on the couch. I had to head over to Mom's house for a little fettuccine and chicken, some Caesar salad, and a glass of wine, and that's how I watched. But you know what? Hike, punt just doesn't have enough to get my attention. So you know I was moving over to the Detroit Lions game. So, but you know what? Football fun for all. CFL, NFL, they brought it this past weekend. So you know we're fired up.
Which brings us to guests of the week, folks. We have a special treat for y'all, and I'll tell you why. Because we could have got a guest. We're not. I'm seriously not joking. There's a list of people that would like to be on the show. We would like to have on the show. But in all seriousness, we want to celebrate episode number 10, right? And I made the decision, Maestro, not the Commish. So I was allowed to make one decision in the last 10 episodes. And I said, there's so many people that I know, clients, and some people Benny knows, but the bottom line is they always ask, who's this Commish guy? So I thought, because you really resonated, and I'm not joking, you really resonated with a lot of people. And I thought it would be a good idea. And I just sprung this on you today. And I said, I just want to have you as a guest. And I'm going to ask you questions because who is the Commish? Now, we already know that your part's unknown. We're going to get to that. But I guess I got to have to suck it up and say, without further ado, the 15-time world champion, intercontinental tag team champion, women's championship, because I think you wrestled in the women's league in Stampede Wrestling, Notre Dame graduate, extraordinary hockey coach, probably 5-time Simons Valley under 13 champion coach, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Commish Benny Rowlandson. So Benny, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, what else the fuck do I got to
do? Benny, you know what? I got a couple of calls and they say, how in the world did you get the name The Commish? Without stating the obvious, how the hell did you get that name?
Honestly, when you're wild and untamed, people brand you and label you. Now, never take it to heart because, sticks and stones. But at the same time, Bruno's like, what do I even call you? And, we came together and you got the Nick Maestro and I got the Nick the Commish.
So other than next to you, who is the worst commissioner of fantasy football? There's one special guy.
Well, there's a lot on my list, but why don't you tell me who you're thinking about?
Well, Mike Trout.
You know what? We mentioned that in week 2, and it kind of stumped me because I didn't understand all the bullshit in the background with Mike Trout and how he manipulated his league. But well,
he didn't manipulate the league. We never said that he's just the worst commissioner. He didn't do anything wrong. What happened was he's just bad. So during a baseball game, before a baseball game, Tommy Pham, known for his intensity, during the warm-ups in a game, they were playing against, I think he was playing against LA, the Dodgers, and he goes out to the center field who's shagging flies, who else but Jock Peterson. And Jock's catching it, and they had the film on it, and he slaps Jock Peterson across the face and disclosed that they're all both in the fantasy football league. And I guess they didn't declare a trade, kind of like what you and Blair and the rest of you guys were calling me out for. And so somebody called out either Tommy Pham or Jock Peterson, and who knows? I don't know what the argument was about, some trade. And obviously, like, we put a little bit of money in ours. I would imagine these guys put a lot more money in it and the competitive juices. And then they interviewed both of them and said, hey, Jock, do you have a problem with Tommy? And Tommy, do you have a problem with Jock? Goes, no, we don't have a problem with anybody, but I deserved it because I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And they said, but the real problem is Mike Trout because he is the worst commissioner. He didn't pay attention. Kind of like if I was running the fantasy league, I don't even pay attention. I don't even know how to log on. So I think you're number 1 and Trout is number 3,000.
What we're going to do is we're all going to do, the bottom teams have to do a hump and dump. So wait till I announce this next week, because I might get named a little bit worse than Mike Trout, but you know what? I don't care. I'm the Commish. I'll do whatever I want.
Bring it on. Okay, another question I have from one of our viewers, and fan mail is totally different. This is like 100%. I get these calls, and they're saying, "Where is the Commish from?" So tell us a little something about, where you were born and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's easy because I'm not a tourist where I live, and I live in Calgary, and I was born here, I was raised here, and I've never left here. So it's that's an easy one. Calgary's my town, my city. I'm representing the 403 for sure.
That's good. So you were born and reared in Calgary, and we know how painful that is, Benny.
It's been painful in the last few years for sure.
Yeah. The other question I have is, all the jerseys that you have back there, are they are you buy them? Do you trade them? Do you sell them? What do you do with them? Because you got a lot of jerseys.
Here's the thing. I mean, me and my son, we always like to flex. And if there's a game on, or if we're going to meet our friends for a game, it's always nice to flex a jersey. They're really lightweight in the summer. And when I do sports card shows, I don't want to wear a dress shirt and dress pants. I want to wear a jersey and make it more fun for the kids. And so, I urge everybody to, flex a jersey once in a while, and, you'll end up with a whole shit ton of them. And then, I don't know, you sell them at the estate sale when you're done. Nike by Me is one of my favorite websites right now. I'm doing custom Nike shoes. You can design them how you want. I've done cleats for my son, matching his school colors in the States. So I always want to be different. I don't want to be like sheep. Bah. I want to be like me. And me is the guy who doesn't follow the herd and wear what everybody else is wearing. So, that's a wrap on that.
So another question, how in the world did you and I ever meet? That's the one that everybody gets.
Girl, it was Simons Valley Hockey, and it was Timbits. It was just the tiny little guys. And, there's lots of guys out there that are like, yeah, I watch hockey for 20 years. I know how to coach. Then there's me. I played up to junior. I enjoyed it. I wasn't as skilled as a lot of players, but I had the heart and hustle, same as football. And, so I'm getting ready, and it was a crossfield arena, and I'm getting ready, and, you're with the Italian crew, and you guys are chatting it up. And I look down and I see that you're wearing skate guards, and obviously, I haven't worn skate guards since I was 6. And so I had to chuckle, that you wanted to protect them blades and save that $10 charge from the service station on sharpening your skates. And so, I was kind of laughing with a couple of guys. I'm like, do not tell them. Don't say shit. And, out you go all fired up. And you had a black jersey on with the number 8 done in tape, half of it peeling off. And then all of a sudden, the kids all around you, and you step out on that ice and fucking bull on your back, laying flat, garage sale, gloves are everywhere, your helmet's missing. So I picked you up and I said, hey, no more wearing skate guards, man. You always forget. And that was the moment that we first, met, shook hands, and we started watching over each other's kids. That was a good time.
Yeah, it's not exactly what happened, but that's okay. It's pretty darn close. Exactly. I remember what I told you when you tried to help me up. It wasn't exactly I went on with all my skate guards, but that's okay. It's pretty close. It's pretty funny. And then you came over, and I'm sure I said to you, is like, get the app away from me, because that was the last thing we really wanted to do. For some reason, everybody thought that we loved coaching and everything like that. But at that point, we're like, this is really what I want to do for the next 15 years, is coach our kids in hockey with all these some were crazy kids, some were crazy parents, but for the most part, we did okay after 10, 15 years of coaching these things. But
snowball fights after the practices, and this guy, I'm like, what's the best team you've ever coached? And he looked at me and he's like, an orphanage. I'm like, what are you talking about? How do I sign up for that? Like, I love giving back to helping kids. And he's like, well, there's no parents. And, that was his best experience as a hockey coach. And I'll never forget it. I can't stop laughing about it. And it makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, a little something, and we joke around quite a bit, and we try to stay in character to make it entertaining. But one thing that my kids and a lot of kids remember, I think our kids were probably about 12 or 13 or something, 12 years old. And you organized an after year skate. It was parents against kids. And it wasn't just a regular one. People remember this, right? You had a full room of stuff that the kids had. And the one thing I always apologize for is some dick parents didn't pay you the $5 to freaking put their
you know
kid
what?
on there.
To be
And I
fair,
know that you always say, let it go. But it pissed me off. Very few things pissed me off like that pissed me off. Because you had the WWE belt for the championship team.
I actually bought a 4-foot. I bought a 4-foot trophy, that we handed to the winners, and obviously that trophy's never left my house, and I still have it. It's in Alex's room, and I rented the whole Max Bell fucking arena, bro. So it was a lot more than $5 a parent and kid. But here's the thing: I always love going out of my way to make people happy. It means the world to me. And, so that'll never end, man. That'll never end. No matter what I do, I'll always be searching just to make people's days just a bit better. But if I don't like you, I'm going to make your day worse. Trust me.
Benny, I got to be honest with you. I was, and you're going to laugh about this, but I was clearly not the best hockey player out there. I couldn't afford to play hockey growing up, but, I could skate and I could play a little bit. Some of these guys were good players, like the parents played everywhere, like you guys. But I'm going to tell you, when I started finding out people weren't paying you, I'd accidentally trip a few when they weren't looking during that game. I was not happy about that because you didn't deserve that. But the boys,
just remember one thing is that I never asked anybody for anything. No, I didn't ask one parent, one kid for $1. This was pro bono from me to them. And, I'm glad you still remember it. I still remember it. And, there was a lot of great kids there. And I would do it all over again for them. So watch your email. You never know when I'm going to rent out the Max Bell Arena again.
So, Benny, one of the last questions I had, because you've been a great guest. Number one, why did you, I guess you and I, but let's talk about you, right? Why did you start this podcast to start off with? It's clearly not to make a shitload of money because you got probably more money than Elon Musk. But so why did we do? Why did you and I talk about this?
I needed something to work on, and recruitment's kind of slow, and I wasn't finding the action, and so the good times were over, and I was like, okay, what can I do to keep busy? And then this guy I know, Bruno, Lindia, said, get in your office, let's shoot. We're going to come up with some funny shit. And
you started this pool so we can kind of have something to talk about. And the Beisel folks, they're close people to us. And it was a way to at least communicate. And we couldn't have conference calls, because the kids are in school and everybody's running around. But what's happened is we really did it, or you really, you're the catalyst of keeping our kids in communication so that, we miss them and you miss them, right? And so, but now what's happened is you really helped kind of bring together my old crew back east, some of my friends in the US, some of your card dealers, some of my clients watch you and they're like, what's the Commish up to now, right? My good friend, Tony, Viteri watches all the time, and all of a sudden that community is kind of, nicely grown out a little bit. And we look forward to listening to what the Commish has to say. So I want to thank you personally for that. And I think the kids like it. Some of the people, we get some laughs out of it. Commish, I guess, because I'm asking the question, put you on the spot. You got to ask me one question.
You've been in the recruitment business for a long time. And you recently, well, not recently, but you created with another team, a great platform for local Alberta businesses to get together, to promote, to market, to work with. You also created Dream, Reach, and Achieve, where you get to help people and businesses with large group sales and professional training. What made you want to leave the world of recruitment where you had some of the most amazing goals with big teams and the whole bloody jam? What made you want to decide to drop the flex on the recruitment and then all of a sudden continue the flex, not training, your professional training and your YYC Calgary? I mean, all you do is work your ass off for others, but what made you want to make the move?
Benny, that's a tough one, but the simple question is, you see the runway kind of getting a little shorter sometimes, and everybody's runway in their mind's a little different. Nothing wrong with professional recruiting. I still do the training for, certified professional recruiters, trying to give back there. The mega picks, we're in 14 cities across Canada. Really, it was what you're trying to do with this podcast, is build a credible, trustworthy business community. You don't need 100,000 people to buy from you, right? And you don't need to buy from 100,000 companies, but if you get a nice group of businesses that believe in each other and support each other, what else can you want, really? We got to do chores. We got to do our, what I call eat shit box most of the time. And then you get to go to work, right? Why not do it with the people you want to do it with? And recruiting was really good. I owe everything to our recruiting firm, my great clients, candidates, because you worked with us. But at the end of the day, I had an opportunity to maybe do something different. But I keep gravitating to how can we help the other people without sounding too saintly. But if you solve somebody's big problem, they're going to pay you money. And why not do that for a great community? But the one thing you left out that I'm going to self-promote a little bit is the one thing that really I was pushed by a few people to have a little bit of fun is our rock band. And that's
TVs. Yes.
Yeah. So we had our official launch on Sunday, and we're going to leave that out. But he said money is definitely not the motivator in these initiatives. They're definitely not, because if you really want to make money, steal some cars or do some recruiting. You know what I mean? But I get to work with some really, really, really great people. Mega picks. I got Greg, Al, and Miranda. Miranda was on our show, right? So you don't get better people than that. And the ZBs, well, you got Johnny Clean, you got Z, Grey Cup champion. He was our first guest, right? We got the Colonel and we got Emily. So and we got Murray, and he's our engineer. And look out, it's a lot of fun. You got to have fun in the fourth quarter, right? And so we're not playing prevent defense. We're shooting the gas. We're shooting everything. So we're gonna have some fun. Quack quack, gobble gobble. What's going on, and what did you do to the Commish?
Well, we're from Louisiana, so we had to come a long way up to help the Commish and Maestro make the picks for Week 12 in the NFL, because they can't pick shit. So we flew out here, shot a few ducks, made a few duck calls on the way, but we love the Commish and the Maestro. So, we put aside a little time to give you Week 12 predictions in the NFL. You ready to get it?
Let's go, quack, quack.
Listen, we got the Bills at the Texans on Thursday night. I mean, I'm going to Bills, even though we're close to Texas, and we like those boys too. We're taking the Bills on this one. We have the Seattle Seahawks at the Tennessee Titans, and obviously in our neck of the woods, our teams are playing like shit. So we're going to go with the Seahawks on this one. Then we've got the Jets at the Ravens, and if Lamar and is healthy, then we're going to go and take the Ravens on this one. Then we also see the Steelers at the Bears, and we're going on the Steelers all day on this one. Then we got the Browns and the Raiders. We're picking the Raiders. We got the Eagles at the Cowboys, and this might be a coin toss, but we think the Eagles are going to get it done. We got the Buccaneers at the Rams, and we like the Rams on this one. Then we got the Colts and the Chiefs, and we think the Chiefs dynasty is over. So we think the young and bold Colts are going to take them down. Then we have the Vikings at the Packers, and we don't like Packers too much, so we're taking the Vikings on this one. We got the Giants at Detroit Lions, and we like the Detroit Lions. Giants just can't get it right. They've got a lot of great tools, but those tools ain't working. The Patriots at the Bengals, and because Joe Burrow's a pussy, we got to go with the Patriots on this one. We also got the Jags and Trevor Lawrence trying to score all the touchdowns by himself from the Cardinals, but we like Kyler Murray and the Cardinals on this one. Then we got the Falcons at the Saints. Well, the Saints can't do nothing. New Orleans is sucking, and it's not looking good for New Orleans fans this year, but we're going to take the Falcons to get it done. And then on Monday night game, we got the Panthers at 49ers, and the return of Brock Purdy. They did some big damage last week, so we're taking the 49ers on Monday Night Football. We've got our Cy Robertson bobblehead here, and, Duck Boys forever. Let's go. Check out our show on History Channel, Duck Dynasty. OIC Calgary Shop Club is giving us some love. I mean, this platform where they're helping local businesses, support local businesses, buy Canadian products, shop Canadian products. A great place for them to not only market their company, but also advertise with you and your team making videos and just helping them get recognized. So, you know what? Great platform. Promote your business to others. Check them out. YYC Calgary Shop Club. And, spring is around the corner, Maestro, and the team at Rowler Athletics is now booking facilities all over Calgary in preparation for spring training. So if you out there have kids trying to make it to the next level in football, baseball, basketball, book now and get your athletes some extra reps with the team at Raw Iron Athletics. Thank you for the bag.
I don't tell a lot of people this, so I'm going deep in my heart. I'm kind of tired of having sand kicked in my face at all the little local, beaches here. So I think I'm going to join Raw Athletics and get big and strong.
Well, let's just say that I think that you and I might have to go to like Planet Fitness or something, because I don't think the team at Raw Athletics wants to deal with a couple 50-year-old boys. They're trying to help high school kids get to that next level and get some more reps. So, we love them. We love what they're doing. So keep pumping it, Raw Iron Athletics, and thank you for the bag.
Right on. Sponsorship card keeps going higher and higher as our viewership goes. Benny did not ask us to be a guest. We asked him, so it cost him $7,600. Benny, thank you very much. That's like unbelievable. And if you call us, we get a lot of calls. It's up to $69.86, so you might want to hurry that up. But imagine the exposure you get. Just imagine the exposure, right? I mean,
Maestro, we're getting close to 2,000 hits per video during the week where we put it up within the first 4 or 5 days. A total of almost 10,000 views in just over a month and a half. So, I hope we're doing something right. We love our fans, and we're not trying to be boring. We're trying to be funny and exciting. Great background. Goats Only, Roller Sports Network.
Coach, Kamish, here we go. Sports Card Corner. What do we have for us right now?
Oh, listen, Bruno, we got 3 beauties for everybody today. I'm excited to talk about them. I mean, a 1916 Babe Ruth, a 1916 Babe Ruth card. Wow, shit. Hold on a second. Bruno. Hello? Blair, what's up? How did you get this number, bro? Yeah, I heard that you're now the new vice president of sales for ACSI. Congrats. Maybe you can buy me that lunch that you've been owing me for the last 7 months. Yeah, I noticed that you're not in last place. Last time you called me on my cell, your wife was on our show, and now you're calling the golf club phone. I can't even believe you got that number, but congrats on the new job title, and way to go not being on last place. It's a great week to be Blair, but bro, listen, I tried to make it to church last week, but red zone got in the way. But yeah, your wife was a great guest. I already said that once, but bro, listen, once you're on our show, it's over. You're not on our show again. So, stop plugging ACSI all the time and, just go focus on other marketing aspects. But, don't call us. We'll call you. But that's it. One time. Uno momento, Goats Only episode. So, gotta go, bro. Ciao for now. That guy that guy will try anything to get on our show, man. That's all you get on our show, and that's.
But Coach Benny, you know what? We can make an exception for Blair. We can talk about this. He can come back on.
Back to Sports Card Corner because I got to show you this 1916 Babe Ruth card. I mean, if there was a beauty, this is a beauty, and I'm excited. And in the second spot for Sports Card Corner, we have the 2000 playoff contenders, Tom Brady auto. I'm fired up, and I've never seen anything like it. We caught it at the Toronto Sports Card Expo last week, and what a beauty. And the third card, we finally got it. We've been waiting our lifetime for it, the Michael Jordan rookie card. We love it. We're putting it in the vault, so suck it. We got you. Thanks, Mike. I'm glad to have your piece of art, and it won't be going anywhere anytime soon.
So, Kamish, I got two. I'm going to surprise you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And commemorating the real, no offense to the Saskatchewan Rough Rider fans, Rider Pride, Melonheads, respect. You were not the first riders, right? The first riders were the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Yeah.
2 words, not one, right? It's kind of like, two mints in one. I grew up idolizing the Ottawa Rough Riders. We had nothing else really. We didn't have a pro hockey team or anything like that. We had my very, very humble collection compared to the Commish. But here is the first Grey Cup that I could even remember. I was just like this big. Okay. The winning quarterback, you can see this, was Rick Casada, right? Rick Casada, number 16, winning quarterback, was a legend in Ottawa growing up. But then he moved on to the World League. Now, why does that make sense? Is that the first generation World League, we had Dave DeRocher on our pro, and he played in the World League. That was another World League in 1975. So Rick Casada, I remember him walking into my late uncle Ernesto's barbershop, and I was going to poop my pants because that was Rick Casada. That's when a quarterback, in a Canadian city meant something, And here's one that's very close to my heart. He was the captain of the 1976 Ottawa Rough Riders, where Tony Gabriel made that great catch against the other Rough Riders. And Mark Cosmos right there. But I only have the Alouettes card because he played briefly for the Alouettes. Mark Cosmos was the captain, legendary businessman in Ottawa, nicest guy in the face of the earth. Him and my dad were like really, really, really close friends. Unfortunately, passed away. Local heroes. My buddies still go there every Wednesday night. So I had to flex for the Grey Cup session. So we got Mark Cosmos, one of my favorite people, but also football players, and Rick Casada, the first real quarterback I've ever met. So that's a wrap.
Maestro, I like those vintage pieces. They're near and dear to me. I save a lot of them, but great cards, great Sports Card Corner. And we might have a sponsor next week for our Sports Card Corner. Andy's, a local card shop, gave us the Michael Jordan stand-up to use on our set. And so we might have a little bit of love coming from the world of cardboard, Andy's sports cards. If you don't know, now you know.
Which brings us to high and low rolling. I wait all week to be heard. So, Coach, who's going first?
You go ahead, Bruno.
All right. So I go first, Benny.
Yeah, bring it.
So my first high roller is obviously Saskatchewan Rough Riders, Rider Pride, Melonheads. Congratulations. Coast to coast, I think they were the best team in the league this year. So good on them. Corey Mace, former Calgary Stampeder. I remember Corey Mace. He came to our Canadian Football Academy. He spoke there with the legendary Tom Higgins, Tony Fasano, and we still haven't, the evasive Randy Chevrier. He hasn't been on our show yet because he's been running around like crazy, but Corey Mace, class act, good on him. Trevor Harris, how can you complain about him, right? Coast to coast, heart of the team, great team. Congratulations. That's my high roller of the week.
Go Melonheads. To the Luke Skywalker of business development. Now, I'm not talking about the Wolf of Center Street. That's Bruno Lindia. You don't mess with him. But the Luke Skywalker of business development, Blair just got the promotion to Vice President of Global, Regional, World, Space, Mars, and any other planet you can think about for sales for ACSI. You know what? Blair puts up with a lot, and that's why he's a great networker and a little high rolling for Blair. You excel in the sales role. Maybe he'll get us that lunch that he owes us now that he's making a bag. But high roller, Blair, try to stay off our show. He's relentless. That's what makes him high roller.
Benny, I got to tell you something. In as much as I'm, I thank you for introducing me to. By the way, he's just changed his name, kind of like the act at the Grey Cup was MGK, right? He now is HBB, right? So he is handsome Blair Beisel. That's on the card.
Listen, we can't block him from the phones. We can't block him from the video. You cannot block Blair. He's relentless. Too bad we couldn't have nailed down that sucker as a sales guy back in the day.
So, same token, we may as well call this the HBB because we're pointing out Blair Beisel and you, Matt Kluche. I don't know who else. Maybe the little Beisel kids too, right? I'm not sure. But my other low roller, folks, if you can dish it out, you got to take it back because my low roller is all you guys, and I'm going to use profanity, right? Not believing in me and thinking I was going to throw a game, even to my son, who I love more than anything else. You guys need to eat stuff. I don't know what that is, eyeballs or shit. I don't know. But I was down by what? I don't know, 30 points on Sunday. Yeah, you have to remind me. I played along a little bit. Okay, same theme, HBB. The global, like how much more can we talk about Blair? Here's what I'm going to tell you, though. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, I try to be nice. I try to be, like a nice person. I'm cursed with my mom's heart. But I got to tell you, Blair, Commish, Matt Kluche, who else, Benny? Throw them on.
All of them.
Blair included. You guys were sending the equivalent of the Roddy Piper. Me, I work alone. Death threats, just like Paul McCallum did, former kicker for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They poured manure, on his neighbor's lawn, but the same thing. You guys were trying to intimidate me. I was down 30 points. On Sunday. I start getting texts, death threats. It's a fugazi. You're setting it up. I love my kids more than anything else, but I'm not going to let them win in fantasy football. Yeah, I admit I forgot to put a guy in. I don't know how to use the technology. But ladies and gentlemen, in the words of the 14-time world champion, Ric Flair, woo! Show the graph. Boys, you guys can threaten me all you want. I kicked ass. Yeah, I'm going to never throw a game. So that's my low roller. Guys, get lost.
There was red flags all over the place this weekend. Bruno was missing a QB, a flex, and a receiver, and he was playing his son, who's in first place. Now, when you're in first place, everybody's coming for you. Remember, I was in first place for the first 3 weeks, and then I haven't won a game since. So we know when you're in first, the whole grouping is trying to upset that top dog. So when you are coming in to Sunday and you're missing a QB, a receiver, a flex player, you stressed us all out because we figure you're trying to give your kid the bag and the solo top spot, which does not happen in this league. So there was death threats, text messages, phone calls, and Bruno was banging his head on his desk saying, I don't get it. Well, you know what? Bullshit. You've been switching your lineup in and out all season. There was no excuse for that. You got called out. You tried to help your son, but everybody can suck it because Bruno will do whatever he wants. That's a wrap.
That's right. Okay, fan mail. Now, I'm not going to lie. I had a little bit. I had one vote with all the people in our mailroom. Our mailroom people are going crazy. But I said, you know what? Find something to do with, maybe me in one of the answers. And this is what they came up with. Dear Commish, Before you go to bed every night, do you A, drink warm milk with honey, have a scotch on the rocks, have a Nutella sandwich, or do you wonder how Bruno is such an amazing fantasy football master? Thank you, Commish. Sincerely, Doughton Blair. I think it's HBB, but I'm not so sure. Coach, which one is it?
This guy is ruthless. How does he even get on as the fan mail? Unbelievable. Well, listen, you know what I mean. Before bed, I always have a bottle of water, hydrated water, beside my bed. I have a cannabis vaporizer, you know, to grab hold of that little bit of indica before bed. And hey, let me ask you, what do you got going on before bed? Any dark chocolate and blueberries, or what do you got going on?
Dude, I'm lucky to make it to bed. I'm done. I finished this podcast and I'm thinking, don't drive by any tall bridges, whatever you do. And I'm saying, you know what? Don't answer calls from anonymous callers. Don't speed. Don't, especially last week, man. I don't even remember going to sleep. I don't remember waking up anymore. So that's about it.
Just dip you in CBD oil, and I promise you'll have a best sleep of your life. You don't need the THC. You just need a little bit of that CBD. And you don't have to take it in orally in the mouth or drops or smoke it. You can rub it on your knee, your back, and good night, Irene. You're out. Guaranteed.
All right. This has got to be the most expensive segment that we do because beef. Have you seen the price of beef? I sound like an old lady complaining about food. Have you ever heard me complain about food before this year? Beef is out of control. Okay, that's not my beef, but okay, you go first. Beefs and griefs. Number one. Let's go, Commish.
Well, you know, I've been working with Pam Anderson and, you know, the wilderness and saving the ostriches, which didn't work out for me. And, you know, I have a very soft spot for animals. And I came across this article where France, you know, Macron and that place that fucked up the Olympics with their shitty ceremonies and nastiness. The power went out. It was so bad. But let me tell you, we have 2 killer whales that they brought in for entertainment. You know, one of those Sea Worlds or whatever. France has got a Sea World. Yeah. This place has been closed down for months now. And they've got 2 killer whales, you know, closed down marine park. They have no help or support for relocation. And they're bitching about how much money it's going to cost to either set them free or move them somewhere else. They said that it's damaging so bad to the killer whales, who aren't a dummy, but they've had nobody to show and perform for all this time that the place has been closed down. So a drone goes over top to see about how the killer whales are being treated, and sure enough, the killer whales start to perform. And it broke my heart, man, that you know, they're struggling with this. So France, can you please add a little money, a little bag for the whales, the killer whales, relocate them, because you know what? You're the pieces of shit who brought them there anyways, made the dollar on them, and now you just leave them, you know, to fend for themselves in a closed down marine park. It pissed me off to no avail.
So, Benny, you know what? You brought up Pam Anderson. You were the one that discovered her, right? So you dated her before or after Tommy?
Listen, Tommy, you know, he's a stud, superstar, rock star. You know, she's doing a great job as a mom, an activist, and, you know, so we're helping her out.
All right. Commish, my beef is maybe a little bit more controversial, so send your fan mail, give me shit or whatever, but go back to, hey, listen, the biggest sporting event in Canada, well, you know, other than the Blue Jays, but that was Canada-US. But Canada, the Grey Cup, come on, let's go. That's our show. Love it, hate it. But man, I really don't know if it was the CFL that messed this up. Now, in terms of what I think they messed it up, man, oh man, that coin toss. Like the amount of booze that the Prime Minister got. Love him, hate him, don't care about it. I just think there's no place for that at an event like that. Let him give out the Grey Cup, right? Just kind of like the commissioner gets booed. But as soon as I saw him flip the coin instead of Lucas from Coinbase, I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well, right? Lucas is nothing but a class act, as far as I'm concerned. Great guy, great supporter of the CFL. He's from Ottawa, right? Lives in Ottawa. And I just didn't think that was a really good move from the CFL. Positive energy. They're trying to get things going. I don't know what they were thinking about, but never put politics, never, ever, ever put politics with sports. It never, ever ends up well. What do you think, Commish?
Listen, in Saskatchewan, they booed him. But one other thing I noticed on that CFL Grey Cup broadcast, Bruno, was the video quality. Did you not notice the 75 blank outs where the screen went black and the screen went fuzzy like it was being hacked? I counted 78 times the screen went black and then came back on, and I was like, holy shit, is this TSN trying to, mess with us or drop a little disrespect on the CFL? Granted, it is hike, punt, but at the same time, that's the biggest football game we have going.
Lucas from Coinbase, last year, the referee bumped into him doing the coin toss, and they had to redo it. And you know what? That was kind of bullshit on the referee that bumped into him, because, like I said, they're class acts, and good on them. You know what? They can sponsor anything they want. They decide to sponsor the the CFL, and good on them. Hey, I got to give Mark Carney one thing, right? He's got, cojones for doing that. I'm sure he doesn't care, but hey, you know what? Not a place for that whatsoever. Keep politics and sports away, like you said, Kamish. So that's my beef. Life goes on.
Yeah, and here's one last thing on that, and it's not a beef or a grief, but I wanted to say it. Machine Gun Kelly halftime show. NFL has got Bad Bunny halftime show. I mean, are we going forwards or backwards, Bruno? We need a good country western singer.
I'm going to send this video. Okay, I'm going to send this our production to some of our friends out in Nova Scotia. Do you know who they should have had in this Grey Cup? Now, people joke around about the ZBs playing at the Super Bowl, and they don't joke around. We're going to play at the Super Bowl one day. We're going to play at the Grey Cup one day. It's just a matter of getting our schedules together because we're all busy. Okay, out of my alter ego. Now, I'm talking real shit here. They should have had the Martin Boys, right? So the Martin Boys, you may or may not know them. These kids are the real deal. Shania Twain was like, whoa, quit your day job, kids, and get on the tour. Listen, there's nothing wrong with real country music. You don't have to have, hey, I got nothing against Machine Gun Kelly. Zero, okay? It's all good. It's all, and, last year we had the Jonah Brothers. Great, fantastic. The year before I had Green Day. Cool. I get it. Get those kids on that stage. They're entertaining. They're smart. They're hardworking. And guess what? A little nudge. They're Canadian. It's not that they're Canadian and they're good. They're great. They're up and coming, and they're Canadian. It's an and, right? So you know what? I'm going to send it over to my folks over in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Okay. Hardworking kids. They deserve it. If you didn't watch Canada's Got Talent from last year, listen to these kids. So Benny, that's it for Big Beef, but that's what happens. That's what we're here. Promote conversation. Cool. All right. Which brings us to the most trivia that we get, kind of thing, is we get a whole bunch of guesses. You're never going to guess this one because you're not even in our continent. The town you're in is like known for an international music festival. I'm not sure if you saw the bandas, but and chess tournament. I know you're a strategic guy, but it's also known for its tourism and home to the museum about Armagnac, right? So without further ado, let's tell everybody where you were.
Yeah, I had to go to France to see about the whales. And I did get home for the Grey Cup, have fettuccine with Mom, and then we got back on the bus and headed out. And, so we stopped over at a place called Condom, France. Interesting name, funny location. I play checkers, so you know what? Obviously, the type of people that are my people when I tell you I don't play chess. But yeah, Condom, France, interesting place. On our way to give Macron shit for not helping out those poor whales. But no music festivals going on. It was just a cool, fun name. Stop by, take a picture, move on down the road.
Then you can never have too much protection. So good on you going to Condom France. So good job.
Yeah.
All right. Which brings us to the saddest moment of our show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to say goodbye. And as always, the Commish has the first, the middle, the third verse, the chorus, the bridge, and the outro.
You know, Maestro, I love our new set. I'm loving StreamYard. I like the new IT people helping us work a few kinks out. We still got a few kinks to work out, but we're going to get to it. But I'm grateful for all the goats and guests that have stayed with us. Still have a couple birthday shout outs to give. Owen Wilson, his birthday is today. David Ortiz, birthday today. And Darren Flutie, good old football player, brother of Doug Flutie. Happy birthday to you. What do you got for us, Bruno?
Darren Flutie played in like bands or like get-togethers with a former Stampeder called Dan Wickham, who I've never met, by the way. Doug Flutie was the drummer, and the bass player was none other than the ZB's co-founder and amazing bass player, good friend. We have his picture down the hallway here. Shreko Zizakovic. Did you know that? They all played in the same little band.
We'll leave a link in the bottom for all of our fans and viewers to go check out the ZBs. They're bringing the rock to the roll. We love what you're doing. You're staying busy. You're keeping your mind sharp. So good job.
So a couple of shout outs. Number one, you talked about StreamYard. We have to give a shout out to the person who came out and bravely did what no man could ever do, is train the Commish on anything. Because the Commish is self-trained, self-taught, self-medicated. Artin Rahim, gotta love the Bamster, okay? He came in, schooled everybody. Wheels came in, Juanita came in. We had to tie you down. You learned it. Friend Bruno, El Don di Tutti Don, Piccone, who celebrated his birthday on Friday. And today, just today, we celebrate my niece's birthday, Cassandra Berton Podilski, up in Edmonton land. I guess they call it City of Champions of 1965, whenever they won all those championships. But anyways, happy birthday, and thank you, Artin and Juanita. Coach, last word.
Listen, I know that you're going to go and hang out with mom and dad next weekend in Ottawa, and we're not holding that against you. We love your mom and dad. So you take good care of them. Gives us a bye week to work up some more crazy shit to bring our fans. We're everywhere. Fuck it. Goats only, baby.
Everybody knows and it blows. Wind really goes and you feel your heart pound through the road. Rolling home for the closed roads. I can see the light, yo, feel the ice below. Gonna drive through the night till the snow is out of sight. Cause you grew me, yo, cause you grew